This warm-up is based off of stuff that we did yesterday. Those those red hoopy things attached to the angles indicate that those are equal angles. And when I'm talking about red hoopy things, I'm talking about these red johns. See them? Those red hoopy things represent the fact that angle PRQ and angle QRS are the same. So since those red hoopy johns are there, I can set this little expression designated for that red hoopy john. So x plus 40. Let me fix the way that I'm set up here. X plus 40 equals that red hoopy john's designation 3x minus 20, and now it's just as simple as solving an equation with variables on both sides. Are you with me? Okay, minus x cross a u out, 40 equals 2x minus 20. What else do I have to do? There's a bit of a lag here. I just want to make sure. No, I have nothing running. You can't see the green that well. I apologize. Plus 20. I don't care. Plus 20. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 60 equals 2x. Divide by 2. You know what? I just realized I never sent you guys the notes for today. It's all right. X equals 30. I'll send you the notes after this lesson so that you have it. Lots of vocab, and that's why it might be useful to send you notes. Look at these cats. Look at them. They're perpendicular. Cat, yes. Oh. Car. Mm-hmm. Now, it was supposed to be a video of The Office when they say relationships. We don't need no stinking relationships, but, you know, it didn't work, so forget it. Let's talk about some friggin' vocab. Adjacent means they're next to each other. They share a side. They share a side. So if you live in a townhouse, if you live in a half a double, you're adjacent to the other half the double. Okay. If you live in a row home and best friend, if your BFF lives 5 houses down on the other side of the row homes, you're not adjacent. Adjacent angles are angles that share a common side. So 1 and 2 are adjacent and adjacent, and 1 and 2 are adjacent and adjacent. They're saying 3 and ABC are not because 3 lives in ABC. Similar here, 3 and ABC. They seem next to each other, but they're not sharing a same side. Linear pair is exactly what it sounds like. 2 angles that when glued together share a straight line, create a straight line. Linear literally has the word line in it. So a linear pair will be 2 angles that when glued together create a straight line. There's another name for that, and we'll get to that later in the lesson, but we don't have anything linear in here because there's no angles that you can glue together to create a straight line. So that's a little bit of vocab for you. A little bit of vocab up in your face. More vocab is vertical. Now, I know when you're thinking vertical, you're probably playing 2K and you do a jump shot and you're like, oh, jumping in the air, that's my vertical, up and down. No, not anymore. Vertical angles are angles that are across from each other. Okay, so 1 and 2 here are vertical. They're across from each other. 3 and 4 are vertical. They're across from each other. Over here, we have angles that this guy looks like it could potentially be the same as that, but since they're not created by two intersecting lines, they're not. See how B kind of breaks and turns into ED? Oh my goodness. That's not vertical. So vertical has to be created by when you have two perfectly straight lines intersect, and then the lines across from each other are vertical. Fun fact, vertical angles are equal to each other. So up here, if I'm given a math problem, I can say that 3 is the exact same measure as 4. Angle 3 is the exact same measure as angle 4. Up here, I can see that angle 2 is the exact same measure as angle 1. Okay, and that makes sense. It's kind of like if I were to literally take scissors and cut these angles out and put 3 on top of 4, you would get the same exact angle. So that makes sense. I can't say that about this guy and this guy. If I were to cut AEB out, that one, and cut out DEC, that one, and put one on top of the other, DEC would probably be just a little bit smaller, so they're not equal. And we can see the hoopy things over there too. Hoopies. Ooh, speaking of 2K, hoopies. Now, I'm supposed to name an angle pair that satisfies each condition. 2 acute vertical angles. Okay, so first off, acute means small, and vertical means they have to be created by two intersecting lines. I only have 2 lines that are perfectly straight and that also intersect, and that's that green John and this red John that I'm about to make. So the only options I have for intersecting or for vertical angles are these purple Johns right here. And what letter? I didn't use black yet. Those black Johns. Now, don't be like, yes, but Mr. Parrots, that black John at the very top is like cutting through another line. I don't care. I can call that black John up there angle W. What letter is that in the middle? WVY. What I need to do, though, is I need to name 2 acute vertical angles. So I'll name the one angle WVU, West Virginia University. And you guys name the other one, please, and thank you. WVU and WVX. I think you accidentally did the next one. Those are WVU.
YVZ.
YVZ. Good. This John right here. That John right there. That John. You see that John right there?
Yes.
YVZ. Those are the 2 angles that are across from each other that look like they're exactly the same. Now I need to label 2 adjacent angles, and we have a ton of options here. It may not be as obvious, but we have several options. So I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick one. U V. Yeah, that looks obtuse. It looks like it's a little greater than 90. UVW. And you have to name one that's obtuse and also shares one of those sides.
UVZ.
Yep, that works. UVZ shares that side right there. Should have used a different color. That side right there, and then goes over there, and it's also obtuse. So there were several options that you could have chose. I could have gone with XVZ. I could have gone with a completely different pair, but that's what I started it. You guys finished it. All right. Ideas? No? Okay. These are vertical, right? Boop, boop, because they're across from each other and they're created by two intersecting lines. If they're vertical, what does that mean? Who remembers? Who said they're equal? Who said that?
Me.
Good job, Paul. They're equal. Yes. I think you just forgot to unmute yourself and you were yelling it, but I heard you all the way from town, as the kids call it, from town. You see what I did? They're vertical, and vertical angles are equal, so I set them equal to each other. And now I can add 10, and I can add 10, and 2x equals 130, and divide by 2, and divide by 2, and x equals 65. Mr. Parrish, how do you know if you did it right? Oh, okay. Well, if x is 65, I could plug that x into that John down there and do 2 times 65, which is 130, and 100 minus 10 is 120, which is equal to 120 right there. I guess I did it right. I suggest that you quick grab scrap paper and a pencil, because more of what we do today will be math and less pictures. Although there will be pictures, the pictures will be our guide. Jiminy Cricket once said, let your conscience be your guide. But today it's going to be pictures that are going to be our guide. TV guide. Remember that? These are words that you should have learned last year, but I'm not sure if you did with Miss Schloop. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles that if you glue them together, you get 90 degrees, like these two. And how do I know these two are complementary? Because 65 plus 25 add up to 90 degrees. Complementary. How can you remember that? It's right to compliment someone. Get it? Right to compliment someone. Supplementary. Supplementary are two angles that when you glue them together, you get 180 degrees. In other words, a straight line. Like 3 and 4 here. Boop. Like P and Q here. And I know that P and Q are, even though they're not glued together, I can glue them together, and 60 plus 120 is 180. The way I like to remember supplementary is when you guys go up to your friends, you say, sup, dog, and then you shake their hand and then do a 180 and turn around and walk the other way. We all do that. It's just common courtesy. Complementary, supplementary. Lots of words to remember. Adjacent means next to each other. Vertical means across from each other and also equal. Linear is the same exact thing as supplementary. Same exact thing. It's just linear implies that they're already attached, and supplementary means you can attach them. Complementary means if you do attach them, you get 90 degrees. Right angle. Dope job, everybody. Get your scrap paper out. Wait a minute. Oh, is this a new phrase? Perpendicular? Perpendicular lines intersect to form 4 right angles. Cha-ching! There they are. That's a right angle, which means you're a right angle, which means you're going to be a right angle, which means you're going to be a right angle. Because if that's a right angle, that has to be a right angle too. And if these form straight lines, then if that's 90, that's got to be 90, and that's got to be 90 also. Perpendicular lines intersect to form 4 congruent adjacent angles. Well, duh, because they're all 90. Segments and rays can be perpendicular to lines or other line segments and rays. Nifty. And the right angle symbol in the figure indicates that the lines are perpendicular. There's a new symbol that we're going to use quite a bit. If I were to say that these two lines are perpendicular, instead of writing out the word perpendicular, I could just say line AD is perpendicular to line BC or CB. Cool, gang. Lots of vocab. Now it's time to put that vocabulary to use. Get your scrap papers ready. Get your scrappy papes ready. The problem 4. The measures of two complementary angles. Oh, what does complementary mean again?
Two angles that add up to equal 90 degrees.
Two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So the measures of two complementary angles are this and that, which means this, 7x plus 17, and plus that, 3x minus 20, are going to equal 90. I'm going to take a 30-second nap and allow you guys to work ahead. And if you aren't able to work ahead because you don't have scrappy paper, go find some. Steal it off of a person outside for all I care. Remember the Titans, the movie, when the guy was like, if you don't have a suit, find a homeless person and steal it from them. Yes, Lily remembers. Remember the Titans. Came out a little over 20 years ago. Like the other day was the 20-year anniversary. And time's up. Hopefully you can work fast, or you could just beat me to it. And if you do beat me to it, just put what x equals in the chat, please. So work ahead of me. Put what x equals in the chat. 7x on the left, 3x on the left, combined to make 10x, which is not only a term here, it's also a type of confectionery sugar. 10x sugar, ha 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 ha. I am full of fun today. Ew, decimals. Did I do something wrong? No. Minus 3 equals 90. Add 3. Add 3. Cross that out. 10x equals 93. Athena has the answer and is correct. Divide by 10. Ugh. Divide by 10. And x equals 9.3. Now, what I'm not going to do, just to save some time, because this is a lesson that's chock full of information, is it didn't just ask me to find x. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's just cheat. We're going to cheat. We're going to cheat. Listen, if certain people can cheat on their taxes, then we can cheat on our math. Am I right, gang? No comment. If I wanted to find the measure of each angle, which is what I'm supposed to do, then I need to take the fact that x equals 9.3 and plug it into that one. So I can do 7 times 9.3 plus 17.
The answer is 82.1.
So one of my angles is 82.1 degrees. And I can take the fact that x equals 9.3 and plug it into the other one and say, what is 3x times 9.3 minus 20? Did I say 3x?
The answer is
I did. What is 3 times 9.3 minus 20?
It's 7.9.
What can you tell me about my two angle measurements that I just found out? What do they add up to?
They add up to 90.
Which means good, which means I did it right. Good. Okay, so this is how we were supposed to get to our answer, and then what's in the red box is our actual answer. What's in the box? Name that movie. 7 is the correct answer. Very good. And fun fact, that movie is a horror movie, and the answer to the question, what's in the box, is the man's dead wife's head. Not a fun movie to watch with the family. I'll tell you that right now. It's about a serial killer who is literally killing people based off of the 7 deadly sins. And at the end of the movie, he finds the one detective's wife and chops her head off and puts the head in a box. And what's even worse about the movie, his wife was pregnant. Problem 5, lines X and Y intersect to form adjacent angles 2 and 3. Lines X and Y intersect to form adjacent angles 2 and 3. Now, what I have to do is angles 2 and 3 have to, okay, so X is supposed to be what? X is supposed to be perpendicular to Y. So I need to make this happen. Angles 2 and 3 are adjacent, which means next to each other. What can you tell me about the measures of angle 2 or the measures of angle 3? Based off of the fact that we know what I underlined in black there. The key word is perpendicular, which means they form what kind of angles?
Right angles.
Right angles, which means angle 2 is equal to how many degrees?
180.
Close. Santiago and Russell said 90. Angle 2 and angle 3 are equal to 90 degrees. So angle 2 is 3a minus 27, and that's going to equal 90 degrees. So I will give you a head start, which won't take you that long, and that's an ugly 9. I'll give you a head start and let you do that one. And while you do what's there in red, I'll do what's here in blue, which is the exact same type of problem. Angle 3 has to be 2x plus 2b plus 14 equals 90. Now, what Paul said about 180 degrees, maybe I didn't explain myself well. If you add 2 and 3, you do get 180 degrees. But in this case, if I tried to add what I have in blue and what I have in red, that would give me 2 different variables, and it's not going to help me that much. So I'd rather just do what I have here. You do the red, I'll do the blue. Put your answer in the chat of what you get for A, and I'll show you what I got for B, and hopefully we'll be happy with everything that happened. Okay, so I'm seeing A equals 39 a bunch of times. So let's see. If you see what I did over here, subtract 14, gotten 76, divide by 2, and I got 38. That sounds right to me. Add 27, cross a U out, 3A equals 117, divide by 3, and I'm going to agree with you guys on that whole 39 thing. So when you see certain words, certain key words like perpendicular, complementary, perpendicular and complementary usually imply 90 degrees in some way because they all have to do with right angles. When you see linear, supplementary, that usually implies adding up to 180 degrees because supplementary means 180 and linear means it creates a straight line, which is 180. When you see words like adjacent, that means nothing. When you see words like vertical, that usually means equal to each other. So the key to these types of problems is looking for those key words. Complementary, that's how we did the 90 thing. Is perpendicular to, that's where we got 90. And the other suggestion for 180 wasn't a bad suggestion at all. It's just in this case, it ended up being the 90 that seemed to work for us. Maybe in another problem, it could be 180. We'll see. But again, words like complementary, words like perpendicular usually imply that things add up to 90 or things are 90. Words like linear, Words like supplementary usually imply that things add up to 180 or things are 180. And then words like vertical usually imply that things are equal to each other. All right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. 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 What kind of angles do I have here? What could I do? I see adjacent angles, and I also see vertical angles. Ideas? I see acute. Y is acute. Any ideas? I see vertical angles, which, what did I just say implies? Things are what to what? I see this angle. First off, if I set those up, if I added those and set them equal to 180, will that help me in any way whatsoever? Yes or no? Somebody say no, and because that would be X and Y. How about we do this? If I see two vertical angles here, and the vertical angles only have X's to deal with. So why not set them equal to each other? A lot of what we're doing with these lessons is trying to figure out what works best for us. It's like analyzing the problem and saying, you know what? If I try to deal with an X and a Y, that won't help me. However, if I can find a way to link this guy with this guy, then I can find X, and life is good. And I can link those two because those two are vertical, and vertical means equal. So I have 2X plus 25 equals 3X minus 10. You tell me what to do, whether it's in the chat or unmute yourselves. I could add 10. Let's save that, though. That's not wrong. I just want to wait until the end to do that. I will add 10 eventually. Let's just put it that way.
From both sides?
Yeah, I'd rather do that first. Subtract 2X. Subtract 2X. That gives me 25 equals 1X minus 10. So we'll go with Santiago's idea, which is add 10 and add 10. And X is now 35. So I found X. X is 35. Am I being asked to find each angle? No. But in order for me to find Y, I know that if I took Y and added either that guy or that guy, Y plus one of those arrows is going to equal 180 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of these angles, so it'll allow me to find Y. Again, I'm going to find one of these angles, so it will allow me to find Y. So why don't I take 35 and plug 35 into that X? That will give me 2 times 35, which is what? Good job, 70. Good, Santi just said it. And 70 plus 25 is 95. So this angle right here is 95. I know that Y and 95 add up to 180. So I could say Y and 95 add up to be 180. So what's Y going to be?
85.
85. Good. Because if I subtracted 95 from both sides, we get 85. Did I find each variable? I sure did. So if I wanted to make sure that I was absolutely right, okay, I just found out that this was 95. I just found out that that was 85. 3 times 35. There's a cat at my window. Hello. Hey, buddy, come on in. Oh, you've got brambles all over you. My goodness. He's got brambles all over him. Ugh. Say hello to my friends. This is Freddie. He's named after Freddie Mercury, the famous singer from Queen. Oh, and he's so sweet. He's so pretty. Freddie Fazbear? I don't know what that means. All right. Three times 35 is 100, and 5 minus 10 is 95. That would be 85 as well. If I added all of them, I get 360. Cool. All right, let's finish. The measure of K and L. Hey, buddy. Why don't you get up here? My goodness. The measure of K and L is 6x minus 4. The measure of L and M is 4x plus 24. So far, so good. All I'm doing is labeling. Okay, so what I need to do is find the value of x so that K and M is a right angle, which means I need to take that guy and add that guy and set it equal to
90.
Good. So I'm going to take 6x minus 4 plus 4x plus 24 and set it equal to 90. We have just enough time where I can give you guys a 1-minute head start. I agree with Santi. So Santi already has an answer. Let's see if we can get to where he got. And if you're almost done, good. And if you're not done yet, hopefully you're almost done. And if you're already done, then check Santi's answers. He is correct. 6x plus 4x is going to equal 10x. And I have negative 4 plus 24, which gives me a solid 20. And that's going to equal 90. Yes, Freddie. Bye, friend. I love you. Subtract 20. Subtract 20. Cross you out. And 10x equals 70. Divide by 10. Divide by 10. And lo and behold, for once in his life, Santiago is correct. Just kidding, Santi. You're smart. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in geometry in 8th grade. Well, that's 7. Problem 7. Speaking of 7, what's in the box? 7. Oh, haha. We don't have a whole lot of time for the grand finale, but there it is. And by the way, if angle 1 is 110, we can quick do this. If angle 1 is 110, what does that make angle 3?
110.
Good. Also 110 because they're the same. What would that make 2?
70.
70, good. Which would make 4.
70.
What's the problem with this picture?
It doesn't match the scale, which freaked me out.
Yeah, it's not drawn to scale at all. Not at all. But that's not the point here. The point is this is the problem I stole from the book, and I'm not going to argue with the book because that would just be wrong.